If you feel as if you are not good enough, not adequate, not worthy, first thing I want to tell you is that is a bold-faced lie. Now, I don't know who it is that told you this. I don't know who programmed this, who got this so deeply entrenched into your psyche that you started to believe it about yourself. But I promise you that it is a lie. There is no truth in it. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry that you had to believe that you were inadequate simply because you existed, simply because you were looking to express yourself, especially at those vulnerable stages and ages where you are figuring life out. You don't even know what life is. You are literally just, dropped into this planet, and now you have this messaging in your ear about how you're not good enough unless you do this, or you only deserve my affection or my love or my attention when you do that. I'm sorry that that had to be experienced. Now, the second thing I want to tell you is that at this moment in your life, it is only you who can change it. There is nobody else who is coming down, dropping down from the heavens to come save you from this. There's nobody in any book who's coming to save you, even me in this very moment in time. I can't save you from what you have now chosen to repeat. The things that you have chosen to internalize and continue to hold on to, I can't let go of those things for you. It's like they say, nobody can lift the weights for you when you go to the gym, or nobody can run for you. Nobody can eat the healthy foods for you to get you the results. It's the very same thing when it comes to our inner healing process. Nobody else can do this for you. You have to embark upon this journey within yourself. But with that being said, I must also tell you that there is no greater journey you can embark on. Now, I wish for you all the things of this world, all the money in the world, all the success, all the beautiful relationships and the vacation. Like, I wish all of it for you. But even with all that being said, it would still be worthless. It would still mean nothing if you did not come to a place where you could truly see the value within yourself, right? We see it in pop culture all the time. And me specifically, I've seen it in the rap world, right? I came out of the music space as a kid, and I noticed that, for myself and others, we would look to validate ourselves through what we had, right? So because we intrinsically didn't feel like we were enough, we would have to get things that made us feel like enough. So we got the brand or the logo on the t-shirt or the belt, or, we got the chain in order to give us value. We were extracting our sense of worthiness from that material possession. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I want you to have all the Gucci, Versace. Like, I want you to have all of it that you desire in this life. I believe that life is abundant and you should enjoy the abundance. However, when those possessions have you, it comes down to us believing that we are not enough with these things or without these things. Excuse me. And so we add these things into our life in order to hide from those emotions. And they can be painful emotions to experience, but they're truly the most painful when we ignore them, right? It's most painful when you do not face the truth, when you do not go within and look at what's actually going on. Take inventory of the actual thoughts you have about yourself. Because many of us also deceive ourselves. We want to pretend that they're not there in order to get, quote unquote, rid of them, when all we're doing is suppressing them. And if you know anything about suppression, it's that those things that you bottle up are not dormant. They definitely don't disappear, but they're also not dormant. They're not just like lurking down there. They're active, right? They're going to manifest in the rest of our lives. So that feeling or that sense of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, is going to show up in a multitude of ways, even if it's just subconsciously. You're going to find yourself sabotaging those relationships, even the good relationships. You're going to find yourself sabotaging your career, or not stepping into your purpose and being afraid because you think you're not enough. You're, as I heard today, like afraid of being seen, right? That was one of the most powerful shorts I think I've ever listened to. He said, the reason why you fear success is because you fear being seen. Wow. Yeah, that part. So you find yourself in this place where you are now, in essence, people pleasing in order to extract value from the rest of the world. And I'm going to segue real quick. This right here is a book that Well, first published book, by the way. This is my very first published book, Doing Me Guilt Free. And this came as a result of kind of a point in my journey where I was like, you know what? I'm ready to show my entire self to the world because I now know I'm deserving of love. I'm deserving of affection, whether my family or those who've known me most or closest to me, whether they like my truth or not, whether they appreciate who I am for who I am, or only because they believe that I believe the same thing that they do. Like, I now know I have value in and of myself. And so, when I wrote this book, it was really a process of unpacking this people pleasing persona I had created in order to extract validation from others, and finally stepping into that true, what they call personal power, right? Taking my thoughts back, taking my emotional strength back, taking back the actions of my life. I took back control of my entire life once I made the decision that I was no longer willing to live by the cups of others. And what I mean by that is, most of us are operating from this an empty cup because we're not actually filling ourselves. And so we go to other cups waiting to be filled. And sometimes somebody might fill you, but most of the time they just go leave you with less. And every now and then when you get very desperate, right, now you are literally dying of thirst, you go and replenish yourself a little bit, just enough. But as soon as you replenish, there they go drinking it up again. And you're mad, right? We get mad that people are extracting from the cup that we offered up to the world. And so when you are in this place of feeling like you're not good enough, inadequate, not deserving, it's because you are deceived, you are deluded, really, right? You're in a delusion. You're not seeing truth. The truth is that you are worthy, you are loved in and of yourself. You are one with the Creator. How did you get here? You were formed, you were crafted with intention. Mel Robbins says, I believe your chances or your odds of being born are 70 trillion to 1. Even if it's just 7 trillion. If it was just 1 billion, I'd be like, man, that's wild. 70 trillion to 1 are the odds that you are born, that you exist, let alone in the condition that you currently exist. And life may have demonstrated to you that you are inadequate, but that's only because you have manifested a life based on a lie. When you start to live by the truth that you are loved, that you are more than enough, that you are adequate, right? More than adequate. I don't even like enough at this point. It's more than enough. You are loved, you are valued, you are cared for, you are seen, you are appreciated completely for who you are. Not what you do or what you don't do, not what you have or don't have, but because of who you are, your essence, you are just appreciated as you are. There is a resonating love that emanates from you, from the Creator, not the one that's taught of in those books. You know the books I'm talking about, the books that say that they are the only truth that exists. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real essence of the Creator, who says you are loved and you are whole. And you really have to tap back into that space. And you can't do it feeding all your attention to this guy right here and spending all day like this, right? I create content. Like, this is one of my main gigs in life. But yet I understand that you need to step away from these things and be by yourself, truly be by yourself. No Netflix, no this, no conversation, no person, not the therapist, nobody, just you and you. To be in those spaces of meditation, be in those spaces of reflection. Stop running from your thoughts. Stop running from yourself. It is only frightening when you don't face it, right? I have, at this point in time, faced my deepest fear in the world, which was coming out to my folks, or my dad more specifically, about my true beliefs religiously, right? Telling him that I do not believe what you believe. Even though you believe I'm going to hell for it, or, that's been your story arc thus far, I don't believe what you believe. And that's perfectly fine. And so that's the space that I now find myself in, is living from a place of radical unapology and authenticity. And that's the only way I can be, but it wasn't always this way. Again, I lived as a people pleaser. My entire life up until this point, I was a people pleaser. I needed everybody else to see me a certain way so that I could extract validation from them continuously until I felt whole enough to then go out into the world and to show, whatever mask or whatever face that I needed everybody to see from me. And so your value, you must come to remember to recognize, right? The word recognize is recognize, which means to bring back to mind, to bring back to consciousness that you have always been more than enough. You've always been loved. You've always been cared for. You've always been safe. And I know the story of your life thus far may have not projected that, but again, that's because you were living in the context of a lie that was fed to you, that was given to you, that was programmed into you, hardwired into you. And it is only you who can choose to extract that program from yourself. It's only you who can choose to tap back into that remembering that you are more than enough. Period.